Hello again, welcome back to Asgard and welcome back to Exoria. So since last episode I have been fairly busy. We're going to pop over here real quick. I'm just going to briefly show you. I did set up 2 additional tanks. Only one of them currently have a liquid in it. That is our honey tank. So we are sending the honey out because I wanted to get propolis for our peat production. So we do have, this one right here is honey. And then I've got it facing off in this direction. This one over here has nothing in it at present. So I also finished building out the supports on these back two. These ones I still have to do a little bit of work on, but I got those put in and got tanks inside of them and all that fun stuff. And then over here, I've been working a bit over here with a couple different projects. First up in the agriculture area. Over here you can see I have added... it should be all of the Terraquis fruit trees. So at least one of each. I mean, I'm still going to expand this out, but we have just some fruit trees around. Back in there is bananas and coconuts, just kind of for decor. I also worked on this area. I did an industrial hemp farm, just a mass-scale industrial hemp area. And then it's actually a little bit less common now. They get attacked by enemies, because I am wearing those glasses, the Ashen goggles again, which I need to upgrade those. And then over here I have done beetroots. So we've got wheat, potatoes, or wheat, carrots, industrial hemp, and beetroots planted. And I'm still expanding on farms, but that's the ones I've got done thus far. And then I've been doing a bunch of tree breeding. I mean, I've changed the trees over here, but for the most part nothing over here has changed too much. Let's pop over here. I did put down a little bit of ground right there, just so that it would stop planting saplings like constantly. And you can see back in here, I have a bunch of different forestry trees planted, just kind of so that they have a presence. You know, they're planted down. And you can see right here, I actually have the coastal sequoias, so which they give fireproof wood by default, I guess. I seem to recall in the past they just gave standard sequoia wood, but these have all made fireproof wood. Which is interesting. I don't know if that was a change or if I just incorrectly remember it or what. But we have quite a few different trees planted here. I have some saplings inside of this building. So if we take a look here, which I did, I brought out a little pipe here, connected this up, and it's producing bituminous peat, which we've actually got a decent amount of at this point. Oh, and right here for the honey, I did a intricate circuit board with the Speed Boost 2s. I did another one of those, so... we do have quite a bit of speed boost too, but right in here I have an arborist chest, and if you take a look here, we have so far the trees that I've obtained. You can see I've got 9 species out of 35. This is of course not, I don't have any saplings in here for the apple oak, the birch, the spruce, and that's only 3 vanilla ones that I've done so far because I'm just kind of breeding off of those. But so far we have sugar maple, we have coast sequoia, we have silver lime, hill cherry, mundane larch, and bull pine. And I believe I am totally done with the spruce trees, like entirely. The red spruce, if you take a look at the tree breeding, sugar maple, mundane larch, and bull pine, we've got all of those. So I don't need spruce anymore for anything, which is great. And I'm actually done with quite a few of those trees. Anyhow, then if we pop over to, we'll get to that in just a second. If we pop over to here, I have finally pulled up our metal press, our rock crusher. That's all gone. It's all moved. So if we pop over here to the turret workshop, I have moved them in here. And if we take a look here, we have our rock crusher, we have our charging station, we have our metal press, all available right in here. So, and then I also push this back. This is still probably going to get moved, but it's going to get moved to the desert, most likely. But I haven't started that build yet. One step at a time. And then if we pop over to here, I told you I was going to make a laser room, and I created a laser room, which we're going to be working in here a little bit. Now, regrettably, when I was building this, I discovered something. First up, let me kill this guy. First up, the slats do not count as a block. So those have to be, you can't have slats on the outside, otherwise, because we needed the laboratory blocks, you know. And it doesn't count as an enclosed space if you have the slats. Also, I wanted to use the door, this door right here, the large iron double doors. those also do not count for closing off a space. So it doesn't count as a enclosed structure. So what I ended up going with is a design kind of like this, coming around the back and the sides. Nothing too elaborate, but I kind of made it match, semi-match the structure that's over here. So with, I actually have these same lights on the inside and some of the same design style for this little structure. Because we didn't need the industrial hemp farm here anymore, and it was actually a great spot and a great size to stick our lasers in. So I went with that. And I ended up going with a reinforced door from Melissa's Stores because I love these things. I wanted to use them somewhere. So if we head inside, which this one does count for enclosing the structure, so this counts as an enclosed space, even though it doesn't really feel as enclosed as a lot of our other structures. So maybe there used to be like glass here and it got shattered or something, and these big steel beams are still here that kind of ran through the glass. I don't know. But anyways, we've got the same lighting here, and I did upgrade the amount of lasers that we needed, or that we had. So we now have 9 lasers instead of 4, if I recall. Yeah, 3. Yeah, it was 3 that we were using before. We have 9 instead. And I just have, back in here, if we open this up, if you look inside of here, golden kinesis pipe that comes through and it runs just like that. So super simple, and it connects to all the lasers. And then I have a copper chest here to collect the output. I thought the copper chest actually kind of looked alright in this room, so I decided to go with that. We could have made something that had a little bit more storage, but that's not that big of a concern for the assembly table. And then over here I went ahead and created 6 of these peat-fired engines. So we're going to be using those. They're not terribly expensive. I mean, nothing beyond what the type of stuff we've been crafting of late: pistons, copper gears, copper plates, basic circuit boards. So not too bad. And we're going to be setting this up so it's efficient in the way that it runs. And then also over here, white black chest that connects up with our bituminous peat. So there we go. And that's the main things that I've done since the last episode. Basically just getting us ready for this episode and pushing into tree breeding, because I'm actually really excited to start that. So anyways, I have prepped up some stuff since last episode. Oh, and I did plant rush along this little bank here, which I'll probably end up expanding it, but I went ahead and planted out some of that so that we kind of had rush along the water's edge. And I did the lily pads through there, little stuff like that. So anyways, the first thing I want to do is I want to set up this room so that we can start once again creating redstone chipsets. Okay, and I actually did not prep enough of this stuff, I just noticed, because I didn't make enough wire connectors or redstone wire coil. I'll make some more of those in just a minute. But anyways, what we want to do is we're going to have to feed bituminous peat into our peat-fired engines. Now, these will produce a little bit of ash as a byproduct that's going to go into these slots. I'm not too worried about automating the output of that, because we're only using these for making chipsets, and we use a lot of chipsets, but not to the point. I mean, these peat-fired engines could probably sit here for the entire pack and never have to be emptied. Because, I mean, you're talking 4 stacks of ash. That's a lot of bituminous peat with how much power these are going to be producing. So I don't know if I'm going to worry about automating the output of these or just manually empty them when and if that time ever comes. But anyways, what I want to do for sending the items into the peat-fired engines is I just want to use a dispatcher. So we're going to set that right there. We're going to shift right click, and we're going to, let me go ahead and set this to, we're going to set this to round robin. Okay, and before we start sending stuff, let me pull all this stuff out real quick. We're just going to go right, shift right click, 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 shift right click. And since this is set to round robin, let's see. Let's go ahead and set this to, I don't know if I want to do a full stack or just do like 20. Let's do 20 for now, and I may change it to, whoops. I may change it to a full stack later, but we dump this in there, and actually, let me set, oh, I see what it is. Set it to whitelist, bituminous peat, and there we go. It's because I had it set to like blacklist, I guess. And I've also got some of these upgrades. Let's go ahead and drop one in there. Pow. It's just spewing peat all over the place. And if we take a look here, we have 20 in each of these. That's great. And so that's going to take care of sending our fuel over into the peat-fired engines. And then what I want to do, these require redstone, of course. And if you have them running just all the time, what's going to happen is they're going to burn up the peat, they're going to fill up on RF, they're going to overheat, and then they're going to stop working until that heat comes down, and then they're going to burn more peat. So it's just a waste of bituminous peat if we keep them running 24/7. So I don't want to do that. I want to have these only run when they have something to do. And they shouldn't really overheat as long as their RF is going somewhere. Or their MJ in this case. As long as their MJ is going somewhere and it's doing something, it's not just building up inside of the engine, they shouldn't overheat. So it's imperative that we make sure that these aren't running 24/7, that they are only running when there is something in this assembly table to craft. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to use a cobblestone transport pipe. And I'm going to plug this in to the back of the assembly table, and we're going to put a basic gate on there. Just setting... just sitting right there. And inside of here, we're going to say that has work. We're going to drag that over to the first slot. So if it has work, which basically a gate you have to look at, I look at it kind of like a sentence. So there's different gates. You know, I've covered a lot of these before, but in this case, we just need a basic gate. And then I say, like, if this is true, okay, if it has work, if it contains greater than 75%, if there's space in the inventory, if it has a redstone signal, is this first slot, then redstone signal. So if it has work, then emit a redstone signal. Okay, that's basically how that works. That's just kind of a simplified way to look at it, I think. So what this gate's going to do is then, if there is something in the assembly table that it can do, if it has something in here to do, you know, it has work, then this gate is going to emit a redstone signal. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put down a redstone wire connector, sitting right there. And we are going to, that's input, that's great. We're going to take and just toss on redstone wire connectors. Oh, I could put these on the back. Is that what I want to do? Maybe put them there on the back. Only thing is, I mean, I'm not going to be able to run the coil across like that. Yes, that's not going to work. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to attach a coil, maybe right over here. Let me go make some more connectors and redstone wire coils, and I'll be back here in just a second once I get those crafted up. Okay, I should have everything that we need. And so what we're going to do, let's take our wire connectors. I went ahead and made 2 batches of these, and we'll just attach those right there. We're going to go ahead and right-click these and say output. And then these over here, we're going to say output as well, because we want this to output the redstone signal into the peat-fired engine. And then we're also going to stick one setting, I think I could do it to right there, I imagine. So if we took this connection, connected it over, that's great. And then we'll do a connection on this side, connect that over, and then if we connect that, and then that. Okay, perfect. Okay, that should be good. Let me go ahead and dump that. Alright, so now, you'll notice that the peat-fired engines are not doing anything. If I was to throw a piece of redstone into here, and we select the redstone chipset, now it has work, and look at that. They're starting to run. You can see a little bit more bituminous peat went into that because it started burning that first piece. Okay, and it's going to quickly run through, and it's going to make our first redstone chipset in our new assembly table. And it all looks kind of nifty. It's still not enough power to bump it up to like blue. Oh, there we go. Green. Is it going to make enough to produce it, bump it up to blue? It's producing 40 RF per tick, basically 4 MJ per tick. You can see it's already created a redstone chipset, and that redstone chipset, oh, it came out the transport pipe. There we go. I'm going to put a structure pipe right there, and then it's going to, you know, it doesn't actually connect to the assembly table, but it's going to quickly make a redstone chipset, and it's going to dump it into the chest. The cobblestone, it's seeing it as an inventory, so it's trying to ship it out through the cobblestone transport pipe, which we don't want that. So there we go. We have 3 redstone chipsets in there. So what I can do is I can just toss all that redstone in there and just let it run. And it's actually not going to take all that long because, I mean, you can see it's kicking through. Right now it's running 24 MJ per tick into these, which is actually a pretty decent amount of MJ. So each of these are producing 4 MJ per tick, which is great. I mean, it's going to burn through those redstone chipsets in no time. Whereas used to, it was like... What, used to we were running like 4 or 3 MJ per tick or something. You know, it wasn't a whole lot of MJ. Now we're running a whole lot more than that. And it's pretty much an automated method. I mean, the bituminous peat comes in. It's going to take a while for it to actually just run through this amount of bituminous peat. And that bituminous peat's just constantly being produced, in essence, for free through our automated system that we were setting up, you know, the last couple episodes. So hopefully now it makes sense what we've been setting up, because I know we spent a little bit of time on forestry and getting all that groundwork laid, but now we have really easy redstone chipsets. And I tell you what, just because we have enough bituminous peat in there, I'm going to go ahead and toss in like another 2 or 3 stacks of redstone. We'll do 3 more stacks. And, oh, look at that. It's actually still running, even though I opened the door. That's awesome. Because whenever I open that door, I don't think it's going to count as a closed area, but it still kept running. I guess because the lasers are already down, and they're getting power and stuff. Which I know, over in the desert, I'm wanting to set up like some sieves for decor in this one area that we're going to be working on. So what I'm probably going to have to do is set up like a building. Put the sieves down, you know, have a building made out of like wood shakes, set the sieves down, and then pull them up. Because the sieves will stay down after you pull up the building. It's just you can't place them without building the building first. So, but there we go. Redstone chipsets are finally fixed again, which is good because I was starting to run low on those. And now we don't have to worry about it. And I think the room looks decent. To just be like a little laser crafting room. Anyways, originally this episode, now we're going to switch over to what we're actually going to be doing for most of the episode. This episode was I was originally intending for it to come out yesterday. However, that was not the case because I started getting everything ready to go and I was about ready to start recording and I was like, yeah, let's do this, and I was all pumped. And you know, I was originally planning on working on this quest here for making the litherite and making the void ore miner and all that stuff. And I was all pumped, and then I actually looked at the recipe for litherite because I had looked at it, I guess, but hadn't really sunk in or hadn't investigated it too much. To get litherite, of course, we can get it from the void ore miner. But starting out, we're going to have to make it through the condenser. Unless we could go through the B route and get into those Bs because they're not super far. Ender is just Lapis and Misty. Misty we could pull off. But if we actually want to make the litherite, we're going to have to do it through the condenser, which that's all fine and good. We have to get indium, which is normally mined up at the end. But we can actually craft the indium dust. But it takes diamond dust and ender dust. And there's no way to actually break your ender pearls back down into ender dust. You actually have to get the tiny piles, upgrade them. And of course you can get those from sieving gravel or killing those ender worms, which is usually how I get most of mine. And then you also need diamond dust, which you can get it, I mean, the only way that we can really get it, I mean, we can't make a super crusher yet. The powder maker, we don't have anything in there because we don't have diamond ore itself. Void infused we can't do yet, and then the terraquis diamond dust, we'd have to do sieving for it. So what I've had to do is I actually had to shut off this extraction. So we're not pumping out, you know, the diamond dust and the ender dust anymore. Which I had a couple pieces on me, I thought, but maybe not. So I had to pull those out. Oh, I dumped them back into these. I pulled those out so that it stopped pulling those out. And then I had to let this thing build up overnight. Okay? Because I just didn't have enough ender dust and diamond dust. The ender dust I had to go farm worms. But the diamond dust I had to let build up overnight. So we've got enough in here at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and pull this stuff out. And I'm going to pull 2 stacks. That'll be plenty. And I'm going to add these back into the extraction. So I can go ahead and start pulling that stuff out. But I had to stockpile that stuff up. Because there's no way for me to break down my diamonds and my ender pearls at this point in the pack to actually get the stuff that we need to make the initial litherite for our ore miner. Now once we have the ore miner set up and going, of course we'll get litherite naturally, steadily from that. Steadily at first, but it's not going to be terribly fast, I know that. Let me dump this stuff. So what we can do is we can take our ender dust and our diamond dust and make indium dust. And initially they want us to make 84 litherite. And the worst thing is this is 1 for 1. So if you take a look here at... oh wait, no, it's not 1 for 1. So maybe I let it stockpile too far. For some reason I was like... I don't know what I was thinking. Because we're probably going to get... 4... Yeah, we'll probably get a decent amount of litherite per indium. So maybe I'm just going to do a stack of it. We're going to see how much litherite we get out of that. We should be able to get 84 out of that. Every time I look at the condenser, I just think I'm getting 1 for 1, I guess, in my head. But we're going to have to smelt this really, really quick. So let's go ahead and get that running. And I'll just hold on to this, and then I can dump it back. I can dump it back in the processing system here in just a bit. But anyways, I'm going to let that stuff run, and I will be back here in just a minute. In truth, we're probably just going to need like a fraction of these. Because we've got a decent condenser at the moment. But... I saw that recipe and I was like, oh man, like, I'm going to have to stockpile that stuff, and I just wasn't thinking. I didn't need nearly as much as what I actually made. Now, one thing I want to do really, really quick is, I actually just want to change this to an ender chest, I think. Let's do that instead. Because that way it gets dumped into the processing, or the item sorting system, instead of getting just dumped into like a rogue copper chest that we have to come back over here and collect it. I was just thinking I should do that instead of that copper chest sitting there. So anyways, we've got our indium. And so let's pop over here and let's just dump it into the condenser. I don't know if I need any of this stuff for anything at the moment. No, I don't really see much of anything. So I'm just going to dump all of it. We're going to need quite a bit of that litherite as time goes on, so that'll be fine. I'll just dump the whole stack in there. And let's pop over here, and we're going to dump it into a drawer in our drawer network, so that litherite's going to have a place to go. Tell you what, I'm just going to give it its own like drawer space here, in fact. So we can hold up to 32 stacks at the moment, and I'm going to dump a storage upgrade in that. So we can hold, how many... 416 stacks of litherite. Okay, so that stuff's going to be steadily building up for us. And while that's building up, while that condenser is running and all that fun stuff, we need to pop over and we need to build a hole that goes all the way down to bedrock. Which is kind of a pain because we're going to have to hit that Misty World hardstone. And so let's actually do something. Let's take our conversion wand and let's grab... no, come on. Come on. Aha, we can't use sugarcane. I can use lily pads though. Let's do that. All of that in there. There we go. And that's going to help us get through that Misty World hardstone quite a bit faster. Of course, we could use cactus as well, but cactus, if you're only doing like one block, it's going to place it, and we're probably going to only be doing like one block for the majority of it. So I'd rather go with the lily pads, I do believe. And so out here, we're going to put the void miners just right over in here, I think. Yeah, like right in here will be good. And let's, I'm not gonna be able to use it on the foggy stone. Yeah, we're just gonna chisel this, because this is about as fast as we're gonna be able to get it. So there we go. And I'm gonna take damage as I go down here. I don't really mind it because we have regen and stuff, to the point that we're not even gonna be taking damage. Yeah, I can't dig through this, so we're going to have to go with the flexible axe pickful. Oh man, this... mining this stuff is terrible. Okay, we have finally made it down to bedrock. We are done. Now let's get out of here, because it has to see bedrock for the void miner to work. Now, if I recall, there's actually different materials that you get from the Misty World and different ones that you get from like the Exoria areas. What is with all the mobs? Like, look at this. I just come up out of there and it's just like Mob City. Right here. I guess because I was down there and it's like so much range that the mobs can spawn, so they all just spawned up here. That's a little bit impressive though, I have to say. So many mobs like in one little area there. So if we take a look at the void miner, the void orb miner. Oh, let's see. Like so many things, and they're not even like ores. They're like actually processed. I'm not sure. I'm thinking that there was different things but I don't know. Anyways, let's pop on over, and let's go see how our litherite production is going. We have 96 litherite crystals, 97. Alright, that's great. So let's grab those. And it should be a quest update. There we go. Then they want us to make structure frame tier 1, structure panels, laser cores, clear laser lenses, or one lens, and the void ore miner controller. So let's start with the structure frames. We need 24 of these. And just the tier 1, we're going to need litherite, we're going to need iron, we're going to need interconnects. Interconnects are basalt and redstone wire coils and HV wire coils. Okay, so it's gonna get not really expensive, but a little bit expensive. Redstone wire coils, aluminum. HV is aluminum and steel. So I'm gonna have to get a bunch of this stuff running. I'm just gonna grab 2 stacks of aluminum, 2 stacks of steel. It's probably gonna be overkill, but as we upgrade through environmental tech, I'm sure that we're gonna end up needing that. So we'll go ahead and dump that. We'll start with the aluminum and then do the steel. That'll be fine. I've got some steel wire in here because I was running it earlier just to kind of test this, make sure everything was working good after I set it back up. And this thing is going to use a bit of power. I imagine it's going to produce, it's going to consume more than what we're actually outputting here. Because over here we're only outputting 320 per tick, but that should be fine. I'm just going to run it. And then, before too long, we'll be able to move into solar power as well. But I need to add more dynamos over here and upgrade these dynamos further. The next tier being Signalum, which we could pull off. It's Signalum and Cryothium. So technically, we could pull that off and upgrade our dynamos. But I also need to add, like, the other 12 dynamos that go down through here. Anyways, I'm going to let this stuff run and make our wires for us. And while that's running, the structure panels require interconnects. Not as many, just 1 per, and then iron bars and basalt. I'm going to need some more iron bars. Let me get iron. I'm going to have to wait till this gets done before I can run those. The lenses, though. Clear laser lens is just glass. Let's go ahead and make that. And also there's the laser core. We need 2 of those, which those require some interconnects. But I've got these right here. Let me go ahead and grab like a half stack of that, half stack of that. And I've got some iron bars in here as well. Not enough, but I do have some. I'm actually grab an extra half stack of that. Okay, so let's see, the structure panels. How many of those did we need? 20? Alright, so let's go ahead and get ourselves, there's 32 iron bars, the connectors. So HV wire coils, and then we also need redstone wire coils. There's a stack of each. And we'll go ahead and get our connectors. There is 64 of those. And we'll get our 20 structure panels. Well, 8 of them. I need more iron bars before I can make more. Okay, and I've only got 4 up here. That's not even going to scratch it. Okay, so do we just want to use these for interconnects? I'm going to say yes. We'll go ahead and just make 14 of those. And then we need the lenses. So let's go ahead and get... I don't know if I just want to go with like a standard lens or if I want to dye it. Because the main thing... Let's see, to get more litherite, it is preferred crystal laser lens. Okay, we're not going to be able to do that yet. We're not going to be able to do crystal laser. Because that takes erodium, and erodium is... we have to get it to the miner. So we're just going to start with a clear laser lens. That'll be fine. That'll be okay. And then for the laser cores, they needed connectors, didn't they? Yeah, they need connectors. That's fine. The controller. Let's go ahead and take a look at the controller. So we're going to need void ore miner controller. We're going to need 4 litherite blocks. We're going to need the Exoria artifact, a diode, and 2 interconnects. Diode is simple. Well, we'll go ahead and start with the diode. There's that. And then we're also going to need, what is it, an emerald? Yeah, interconnects. And we're going to need 4 of these blocks. So we'll go ahead and get 4 blocks of litherite. So this will be fine. There is our controller, tier 1. Okay, that's great. And then let's pop back over here and see how this is going. Which we're going to be waiting on the steel wire. Which is actually just about to start processing the steel wire. That's great. So I'll be back once a little bit of that steel wire gets made. Oh, and if you're interested, we still have 45 in indium inside of here. And if we pop over to the storage building, we have 45 indium, and we haven't even scratched the indium. Like, that's how much overkill I made. And of course, we have all the litherite that we needed to, move on with the quest. But we have a stack and 23 in here. So by the time this is done, we're going to have like 6 stacks of litherite. Which is fine, because we're going to end up needing it, but I overkilled it. Like, mega overkilled it. So, just a heads up, you don't need nearly the amount that I ended up making. It's one of those things, like, you look at it, and you're like, your brain doesn't fully process, like, you don't actually need that much of it. But your brain's like, yeah, just make a bunch of it. And, I definitely overkilled it. Okay, so back to our structure panels. Okay, so our connectors, there we go. There is 2 stacks of those. And then for the, let's see, for the laser core, let's start with that. We're going to need 2 of these. And for that, we're going to need just glass and iron and some connectors. So 6 pieces of glass. And there we go, there's 2 laser cores. And then we're going to need the structure stuff. So altogether we needed 20 structure panels. And, oh yeah, I need the iron bars for that. Okay. Well, we'll start with the structure frames then. We needed 24 of these. So let me get lapis. And we're going to need interconnects. So let's get, there's 24 of those. That should be good. And then structure panel, or structure frame, tier 1, PAL, there's that. And then we just need the iron bars just the iron bars to make that last bit. So I'm going to pull this steel out for just a minute. And let me grab our metal press mold, and we'll just switch that. And we'll run like a half stack of iron through. That'll be good. Okay, so there's 20 structure panels, and PAL, quest complete, a new way of resource gathering. And so then if we take a look here, we can claim our assembler and our digital guide. Okay, so the first tier of the void ore miner is a 7x4x7. So let's come out. Let me actually go sleep real quick. Just so that it's daytime and it keeps out the rain. And that way it's a little bit, I don't have to worry about it raining while I'm setting this up. So I said it's a 7x4x7. Okay, let me grab some basalt. And we're going to grab our controller. We ended up using all that litherite that we made. Actually, I think I grabbed a little bit too much, didn't I? Whenever I picked it all up. That's fine. It doesn't really matter either way. I was just wondering. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to put down our controller right there. And let's clean all of this stuff up. And then we're just going to take our assembler and we're just going to hold right click. Oh, does it only use 200 per tick? If so, that's great. Yeah, it looks like it only maybe uses 200 per tick. But it looks like just 200 RF per tick. That's great. So we'll just set up an advanced power cell setting right there. And let's see. We're going to have to... Oh, how do I want to do this? I think I'm just going to get a big chest. Because we're going to have all different kinds of stuff coming into here. Some of which can just be sent into the system. But a lot of that stuff is like pulverized metals and things like that that I don't currently have. I mean, I could just technically... I could probably plug it up to the white system. Because all that metal is being sent over and smelted. It's being handled. But I want to make sure that I have everything in the proper place. So for starting out, I'm going to do a chest. And we'll just set I made an obsidian chest. We're just going to put it right there. And then all we got to do is set this to out. And power cell card. And there we go. It looks like... Okay, it's building up on power. That's great. That is great. And it looks like it's going to take a little while. The tier 1 is slow. Like, it's crazy slow. But by the time you hit tier 6, it's just ridiculously fast. Like, more resources than you know what to do with. Cool. We're actually producing positive on power then. Since the energy consumption on this is only 200. That's awesome. So we got our first item here. Pulverized aluminum. Which, yeah, I believe most of this stuff is already handled. I don't know if I'm going to do like a separate ore processing system for all the stuff coming from this, or how I want to do that. I'm not for sure yet. I'm going to have to give that some thought. But I did get a weirding gadget. We're going to go ahead and just drop this So we'll just drop our weird gadget down right there, just to keep this thing running. We got pulverized iron, pulverized coal. Okay. That's great. So I'm going to let that run for just a minute while I edit some footage. And let's actually take a look here, because we completed that quest. And right here we got even more easy resources for making the Void Resource Miner and the Void Botanic Miner. And then even more ores for making the Advanced Crafting Table, getting some Erodium Crystals, and crafting the Tier 2. Which, to make the better crafting table, we need... What all do we need? Okay, pretty standard stuff. Tungsten steel, and then 2 of those. Which I've still got that one. It's still back in Exoria because you can only use it in Exoria. This one has to be used in the Misty World. That one has to be used in Dimension Unknown. And then the Tier 4, it seems like you can use the Tier 4 anywhere. And of course the higher tiers can craft the lower tier items. Rubies, pulverized obsidian. Alright. I'll be back in a bit though, once I let that run for a little bit. Okay, I want to show you really quick. These lasers, they stopped running, so we ran like 4 stacks of redstone chipsets. And actually when we cut earlier, this was just about done. But you can see we got like 14 ash in each of these. 15 in that one, but 14, 14, 14. So, not very much ash. For 4 stacks of redstone chipsets, not a whole lot of ash. It might... I don't know. It might become a thing like here soon because we're going to start automating chipsets and circuit boards and all that stuff here soon. But I don't know. I don't know if it's actually ever going to be that big of an issue. If we pop over to here, though, it does seem to be getting Misty World specific items. So I'm not for sure what all the Exoria areas would give. I'm going to have to look at Test World, see if it's even worth setting one up in Exoria. But if we take a look here, this is what we've gotten so far. Which we finally got some litherite coming from here. But you can see we've got a little bit of erodium, a little bit of lonsdaleite. This stuff is going to take a while to build up. What we need of that. Be a little bit quicker once we get to Astral Sorcery, but by that time we're probably going to be good on all these materials. But you can see we got pretty much every kind of like metal and gem possible. Even zinc dust. We've got lead, emerald, ardite and cobalt come from this, Certus quartz dust, platinum. We get diamond dust and ender dust so we can make our own litherite pretty easily right there, which is a good way to kind of get jump started on that litherite. We get niobium from the Misty World. I mean, pretty much anything that you can imagine is in here. Phosphor is in here, bacterial shale, filter coal, just all kinds of stuff. Just all sorts of things. So I'm going to continue letting this just kind of run and build up and see what all we get. What I'm really after, though, is this, more than anything. And I don't think there's any way to, like, craft this. I don't see anything. Condenser. Oh, now that's interesting. 8E, 4 times output. Okay, let me try something. Because if we can make erodium that way, it's gonna make this whole process a lot faster. And I want to look and see how that works. Because I am quite curious. I'm quite curious indeed. Oh, and if you want to see what we got out of all that we ran, we got 8.5 stacks of litherite. So, quite a bit of it. And litherite we can pretty easily craft, like from the diamond and the ender dust that's coming through there. So if we can make that erodium with the litherite, that's going to be kind of nice. Because, like, the first couple tiers of materials are the worst. In truth, man, all that ender dust. That's probably all that ender dust, yeah, that I dumped in there earlier. Alright, let's go ahead and just switch these out. And let's see what happens. When it finally runs out that little bit of Certus that's got in there. And actually, while that's doing that, let me look. Crystal shards we're doing pretty good on. They kind of go back and forth. Okay, it looks like it might take 8 litherite. I don't know. It's like eating it, but it's not really getting any progress here. I don't know. I don't see it actually doing anything at the moment. I'll look and see, because it's almost 8 through 8 litherite, so I'm curious if maybe once it eats through 8 litherite it makes 1 erodium, or how that works. It may not even be worth doing it if it's that expensive. It might just be better just to let that sit and run for a while. Okay, it's 8 through 8 of them. I'm going to pop over. I'm going to see if it actually ended up dumping something out into this system or not. I don't know. I don't think I trust it. Because that progress bar, it's not even moving. Okay, yeah, it never ended up dumping anything in there. So, I'm not really sure how that works. I have no clue whatsoever. But anyways, that thing's set up and it's running. It's going to take a while for us to actually build up the stuff. What I'll probably do is just build up until I can make the laser lens. Because what I want is this. Because it's gonna focus more on actually pulling up like erodium and stuff. But like if you take a look at this, preferred is crystal laser lens. It would bump us up by 7% roughly, which is quite nice. But also moving to the minor tier 2 makes resources faster, so that's definitely worth doing as well. I mean, it drops the overall percentage, but it's gonna churn out materials faster. So I don't know. I mean, the only thing is, like, if you want to go to the void ore miner, the tier 2, we're gonna need 6 erodium blocks right there, and then in addition, we're gonna have to upgrade our structure blocks, and these require 2 each. And the tier 2 requires 32 structure frames. So you're talking about a stack of erodium right there. I think the crystal laser lens would probably be the best thing to focus on first. That's usually what I do, is go for that first. So anyways, that's just something that we're going to have running for a while. Like I said, it's going to take a while. Now there's also, under void miners, if you take a look, there's the botanic and the void resource miner. I do want these. I'm probably not going to set them up just right this second, but I do want to go ahead and make the controllers. Now you can set up a new multi-block for them, or you can have, you can just switch out the controller on the multi-block that's already set up. You can do it either way. I'm probably going to do new setups for it, because I have the litherite and everything, so I'm just going to craft them, like, I don't know, maybe between episodes or something. But I definitely want the void resource miner. And the reason being is because at this point we need mica. Which is, what all? We can get Misty World, hummus, and peat and stuff. But what I really, really want from this is I want mica. So this right here, white laser lens. Because mica is what we're going to need in the compound maker. Yeah, duraluminum. And this is what we need to actually start refined storage. Because I would like to start moving into refined storage so we can actually start setting up recipes and auto crafting and some of those nifty things. But I mean, it's gonna be a process. Technically, we could get into it pretty quick, but I do want to go ahead and make these. So we're going to need altogether 8 more litherite bricks, and then we're going to want 4 interconnects. So there's those, and then we're also going to want 2 more Exoria artifacts, also diodes, and there is a quest for this as well. So that's why I figured we go ahead and just knock this out. So we'll have the controllers done, and then, like, I don't want to just set up void miners right now because my power can't really handle it. But between episodes, I need to start working on upgrading the number of dynamos that we've got. And once we get those upgraded, we should be good to run multiples of these. So 2 of all that stuff. We don't need the amethyst, but that's fine. The ender amethyst. Okay, so there's 2 Exoria artifacts. There is our void resource miner. And then I just need a sapling, any kind of sapling, to make the resource miner. And the resource miner, I actually discovered this, or the botanic miner, I mean, not the resource miner. I was looking at this earlier, and quest complete. Take a look here, it knocked out that. Doesn't lead to anything, but we did get that done now. But I was looking at this earlier, and, you know, I was originally wanting to automate the flowers with Botania. However, the botanic miner actually does the flowers from Botania on its own. So, like, you get all the mystical flowers. I mean, it's not a super high chance, but it's enough to have run passively for dye creation. So what we'll probably do is just have it create the flowers, and then we'll have it... I'll probably just automate it with refined storage to break down the flowers, craft the dyes, and keep them stocked. Because I'm going to want the dyes from this to make... of course, having dye automated and on hand of every color is nice, but then also we're going to need dyes for... a deco craft. So I do want to have those automated because we're going to be using quite a bit of those. As well as clay. But clay we'll have coming in from the resource miners, so that's not too big of a deal. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do, just so we have it out of the way, is I want to go ahead and start working on this plastic creation. Because right up here, my compound, I don't think you actually need that for the compound maker, right? If I can spell here. The item compound producer makes... That's not the one I want. I want the compound maker. Yeah, it's the compound maker that we need. And this thing requires a machine case, which we could pull off. Glass, iron gears, gold gears. See, we don't actually need plastic for it. But I think plastic creation might be useful to go ahead and get running. So that we have it, you know, kind of just go ahead and start making some plastic. Alright, so the tree fluid extractor is just stone, furnace, iron gear, and redstone. And I think we're going to go ahead and just make 4 of them, I do believe. So I'm just going to get the stuff together for this. I mean, it's not expensive in the least. There's also another machine that we're going to need, the latex processing unit. So we'll have to take a look at that as well. Another machine case, or it is a machine case. 2 furnaces, iron ingot, iron gear. I'm just going to make 1 of these, I think. And I think that'll be pretty good. I do believe. Okay, so that's already in there. I'm going to get that making the gears that we need. And then I also need that machine case. And I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of these because we're going to need 1 for the compound maker. And we're going to need blocks of signalum. We made some signalum before. We made 16, just a couple short. So it was copper, redstone, and silver. Which actually, you know, I just thought I've got silver and copper over there from the resource miner. I'm not going to go over there right now. I'm going to let that stuff build up. But I will be able to make signalum probably just from the stuff coming in from there. So I'm almost tempted to, like, maybe not process all the stuff coming out of there. So that way I've got this stuff on hand for making signalum and lumium and all that stuff. Might be kind of useful to do. Okay, so there's a bunch of signalum. We should be good on that. And we're going to go ahead and just drop in our 18 signalum. There we go. Well, anyways, we can make our tree things, tree fluid extractors. So there's 4 of those. And then we just need the latex. And we just need the machine case for that. Okay, well, we've got the stuff for 1 machine case. I'm going to grab a bit more silver, I guess. Yeah, because I think I only put like 40 in there, and I'm going to need a bit more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and run like another stack of silver through there. And then what was the... it was rubies for this. That's another thing that we're going to be automating here soon is the miniaturization stuff. Because we're going to have that automated. We are definitely going to have to because we use this stuff so much. Alright, so there's 40. And it was, what, 24? Or 26, okay. Well, that should be done here in a second. We'll go ahead and get the first one ran for the first machine case. Then we can make our latex processor. And I'm assuming this block of signalum goes in the very center of this. Like that, I think. And then if we just toss that, there we go. Okay, so we're making our very first machine case. But we'll be automating this. I've got a design in mind. It's not actually all that difficult to automate. But once we hit refined storage, we'll start automating. We'll start automating a lot of things once we hit refined storage. Which is going to make our lives a whole lot easier. It's going to speed things up a bit. Okay, and then we'll just toss that in there, and there we go. That's going to start running. And then our latex processing unit, there we go. There's that. And that's going to update a quest. There we go. And then we have to make our first bits of plastic. Now, before we do that, I want to get... can we get an auto placer? We're going to need Pally's crystal. Okay, now I'll tell you what we're going to do then. There is a quest right here. Additional machines, iron casing, and automatic atomic reconstructor. I want to go ahead and make that just really quick. Just because I want to get that placer. So iron casing is 26 iron sheet metal and a block of lumium and then some amber. That's actually super cheap. It is really cheap to craft that. So, and this will be another quest for us knocked out. We are coming up on, we're going to be doing a bit of cleanup here soon. Because we have a lot of quests, some of which we aren't really using for much of anything. some that we will be using for stuff, we just haven't got around to it yet. So we will be getting into a bit of cleanup here soon. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to run it through over here. Actually, I've got iron plates right here. But I'm going to go ahead and just run some more iron plates, because we're going to be needing those soon. I have a feeling. I'll go ahead and hold on to 4 of those. Okay, so we needed 26. Okay, so there's 28. I'm just going to dump these other 2 pieces out. Oh, and the signalum. Or aluminum, I mean, not signalum. There's that. These are kind of like the same thing, just different sheet metal, different alloys in the middle. I kind of love having this little place like decorated out. So, honestly, after this episode, I mean, I'm going to be going through, I still haven't gone through and done the scrap decorating. Spent so long on the, like, little agri district. Spent so long on the laser room and building tanks and all that stuff. But I will say that after this episode, I'll be working on that. But I'm also probably going to start the next house building episode. And then I also got to get started on some other builds that we're about to be doing. So, we have all kinds of stuff that we're working on right now. Okay, so there is our atomic reconstructor, and we got another Actually Editions manual. Great. I only have like 100 of those things. Alright, so that quest is done, and now we have the quest here for solar power. And then also, I feel empowered for the Empowerer. The solar power, there's something here. It unlocks something. Some stuff. I'm not sure what needed the atomic reconstructor to do this. I have no clue. Oh, Pally's crystal blocks right here. Okay, that's actually not that bad though. Alright, so the atomic reconstructor, let's get some stuff real quick. And Pally's is actually what I'm going to be going after first. Because I need it for the block placer. Let's go ahead and get ourselves 64 lapis. That sounds good. Turn it into lapis blocks. And then let's get a redstone torch. And a button. It's all pretty straightforward. And we'll just pop over to the turret workshop for now. And we're going to set this up. This is going to get moved very, very soon, actually, because we'll be wanting to automate with it. But for right now, I'm going to put it like right here. And then we're going to take our redstone torch, smack it so it's set to pulse. And then we're going to put down, I'll tell you what, let me just grab this factorizer. And I'm going to shift that down to right there for right now. And then what we can do is we can just toss, let's put our button on the side of this. We'll toss our lapis blocks down. There we go. There's Pally's blocks. And I just need one of these for right now. We'll dump the rest of those. And I actually just need one of these Pally's crystals. So we'll dump the rest of those. And the placer. Here we go. So we need, it says all those 16s. It's actually just 7 pieces of cobblestone. Restonia, black quartz. I should have known I was going to need Restonia. I'll just grab an exact amount for right now. And there we go. And the auto placer, basic coil. There's that. And there is the auto placer. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to pop over here. We're going to grab, we have 312 stacks of wood. If I find that we're using a whole lot of this stuff, which we might, I may set up an ender chest that's just connected to our wood line. You know, the exact same one that the sawmill goes through. And we may set up, you know, have that automatically feeding into the placer. Where do I want to put these? Actually, all this area over here is chunk loaded. And this is kind of like a little tree area. So it actually kind of makes sense if it was over here. Tell you what, I'm actually going to pull this up. And right down here, we're going to set the placer down. And we'll have this guy setting right there. And we're going to put our wood into there and have it just placing up. And then I can, you know, I can automate it from the bottom. Just make an ender chest with the wood line, feed it into the auto placer. It's going to place that wood down right there. And then we'll do our tree fluid extractors. Like right there. You can see it's starting to gather up latex. Doesn't need power or anything like that. Another one right there. And what's going to happen is these are actually going to slowly break the wood. If you take a look, you can see it's starting to get like that breaking crack in it as this thing runs. And that's why we have the auto placer there. Because unlike these over here, this one is going to slowly break the wood. Not very fast. Yeah, see, it just expanded. And then we're going to set up another one right there. So we'll just have 4 of these things running, all collecting latex from that wood. And we got a leaf, or a sapling. And then we're going to need some kind of fluid extraction. What we're going to do is we're going to put a fluid duct setting there. So we'll bring it up through there. Go ahead and clip that side off. And then we'll bring it up to like right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have the latex processing unit like setting right here. This one does require some power. So we're just going to do a power cell. Because I don't have any other power nearby. I mean, I could feed it all into an ender chest or an ender tank, but that seems like a little bit excessive, I think. So we'll just do one of our advanced power cells right there. And we'll say output. And then our latex processing unit setting right there. That thing's got power now. And then I'm going to have to go make a, oh, not a servo, but, can never remember. Retriever is what I want. And I guess I'm probably just going to go with like this one. Because these things aren't just like, it's not churning out just crazy amounts of latex. I mean, it's pretty steady. So I'm just going to go with that one, I think. And honestly, I think that little setup right there is probably going to be enough for all of our plastic needs. It's going to need water, it's going to need latex, and that's how we're going to make our... I think it makes rubber, if I recall, and then we have to process it to make the plastic. But that's fine. It should be good. So we're going to set our ender tank right there. There we go. And we'll just set this to output. And the water fills up. That's great. And then we just need to put our retriever right there and say ignore redstone, and it's going to pull all the latex out of these bit by bit. And you can see it's starting to make our tiny dry rubber. How much, I think it tells, how much latex does this thing even actually use? 75 millibuckets of latex per tiny dry rubber, but it does take a full bucket of water, but that's not really an issue for us. So, but it has drained these things empty, and I think that should be good. And then I'm just going to have to, I'm going to have to set up an ender chest with an item duct, pulling items out from the wood line. So let me actually look real quick. The wood line is what colors? I'll just go ahead and set that up real quick. It's a light blue, white, light blue. Okay, let me go craft light blue, white, light blue. Actually, you know what I could do? Yeah, actually, instead of doing an ender chest, I think I can just use a dispatcher for this. Ah, it's too far away. Are you serious? See, the range on those is not very great. It is what it is. I mean, I could chain them together, and that would work. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do. Yeah, I'll just get a light blue, white, light blue chest really quick. All right. So far it's ran through. Yeah, see, it's only ran through 7 pieces of oak wood. It's not super fast about it. So light blue, white, light blue. There we go. And then we'll just plug up an item duct, a servo, ignore redstone, and this should get filled up here in just a second. There goes wood. Bomb. And it's going to start filling that up. And that way it's just connected up to our oak line, and we can keep it filled from there. And so that this thing can run constant. And then if we want to, let's see, the tiny dry rubber, craft it together to make dry rubber. And then dry rubber, we smelt that to get plastic. Yeah, okay. So I don't know if I just want to auto smelt these. For right now, I'm just gonna have this running, and then I'll set up a crafter to automatically compact it. Okay, so we'll just set up an item duct right there, auto workbench setting right there. Servo, and actually we could probably use a compacting drawer as well, chances are, but this will be fine. And then we'll say that, there you go, and it's going to start crafting up dry rubber for us. And then we can come over here, we can grab our dry rubber and make sheets with it. So the quest actually wants us to get, how many sheets? 1 piece of plastic. Okay, well, there we go. And then we'll just pop over, and then I can just you know, I can automate the smelting and stuff of it. I just gotta figure out exactly how I want to do that. I don't know if I want to send it off-site or leave it on-site, smelt it, and then pump it into drawers. I'm not for sure. So I'm just gonna give that some thought. I'm not in any rush. And quest complete. Industrial machines. Ooh, next multi-block. That looks like it's for Woot, which is exciting because I'm excited to get into that. compound maker. And there's disk storage as well. So refined storage is nearby. Pick your poison. Okay. Still need to get over there. I know that we're probably not really going to use. I'm not a big fan of actually just sticking everything inside of a compact machine. Never been a fan of it because it's just like, I don't know, I like to build it in the world, you know. Sticking it all in compact machines like you want to hide it. You want to hide it away or something. But we are going to start doing some cleanup here soon in the next couple episodes because I want to clean up like that. We're not really going to use some of this stuff. We're not going to be using this. We'll make it. We'll use it some. But the resource miner is going to be pulling out clay for us. So I think we'll be all right. And we've used a lot of bricks, but we can make bricks with our auto smelt in the Misty world. You know, just any kind of clay produces bricks. So, but we are going to go through and clean up this tab, and I'm steadily working through this part. And we still need to start enchanting, but we'll get into enchanting here soon because I just have to make an enchantment table, and that quest will be done. But I do want to start enchanting some stuff. So we're going to be going back here in a bit, but right now we're kind of making our way up to refined storage so we can start into refined storage. So that way we can kind of start automating as we go. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so I am going to end it out here. Next episode we're going to continue on towards probably start into refined storage. But like I said, I do have to get the resource miner up and running, which I need to upgrade power. So I'm going to upgrade power, I'm going to get the resource miner up and going, possibly even the botanic miner, depending on where we're at with power. But we will be starting to set up solar panels and moving into some other green-based power here soon. But I'm going to have to let the resource miner run and the ore miner, those two specifically. The botanic miner is not so much of a rush, but I would like to get that up and going, mainly for the flowers. But I could automate the flowers easier. I don't know. I'm going to give it some thought. I don't even know if we're going to use the botanic miner. I've got to go through and see, because I mean, I could automate the flowers and have them coming in like super fast for dyes without really any issue at all. So the botanic miner we may put on the back burner for a while, just until we get more power coming in. I mean, I've got decent power right now, and it's easy to upgrade, but I mean, there's nothing in here that's like, man, I need that so bad. I mean, we could pretty much do all of our farming through it. Like, you wouldn't even need automated farming for, like, anything. Even wood we'll be pulling in from this. I don't know. I feel like environmental tech's just so OP. Just a little bit OP, so. But I don't know. I'm going to give it some thought. I am going to get the resource miner up and going because we do need that mica coming in before we can actually start refined storage. But we will probably start into refined storage next episode. Then we'll start getting into a little bit of automation, automate the chipsets, automate a lot of things. Which means I'm going to need to set up a couple new building areas for the refined storage area and the auto crafting area, stuff like that. I need a place for that. But that's kind of our next major objective that we're working towards. And then between episodes, I'm going to start the next house building episode. I'm going to start, or I'm going to do a bit of decorating through here, hopefully, and all of that. And start the next house building episode, and then probably start on maybe a couple smaller scale structures, kind of like this one over here, maybe a little bit bigger, I don't know. Anyways, that's the plans at the moment. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.